eyes in the college hockey world are on the TD Bank North Garden tonight as two of the top teams in the nation come across town to battle for the 57th Beanpot Championship. It is Boston University against Northeastern University. The two teams, again, in the top three in the nation. NESN's coverage of the 2009 Beanpot Championship presented by SBLI. Hello and welcome, everyone. Tom Carrot and Andy Brickley with you up here high above the ice at the TD Bank North Garden. Boston University and Northeastern have met 199 times, but they have never met with both schools ranked in the top three. Safe to say, maybe the most anticipated matchup ever between these schools.
Yeah, and when you take a look at Northeastern, you think of the attributes such as a strong work ethic, determination, intensity, and a team attitude that whatever it takes to win, they need that will to win tonight against BU because of BU's top ranking in the nation. And how are they going to get it done? They have to establish that forecheck. They did that against BC in round one. They got pucks in areas where they had an opportunity to get the puck back. They had good body position. They took the body. They stayed within the rules, and they attacked the net. And when they had opportunities to fill the net, they did just that because of that forechecking style and their physicality. And it was best exemplified by these two players, Greg Costa, Chris Donovan. Look at their numbers from a week ago. The game winner by Costa, Chris Donovan, the #1 star, a goal and 3 assists, the +3 rating. But keep in mind, those 6 penalty minutes, they have to stay within the rules and stay out of the penalty box.
If there are any questions whether the Huskies could handle the pressure of great expectations, it was an emphatic yes with that 6-1 win over BC. Boston University, meantime, #1 in the nation, and they have the numbers to back up that assertion. The quickest team to 20 wins in the storied history of the school and the program. Look at the numbers. The longest winning streak in the nation right now. They have never lost a non-conference game, and although Northeastern is a conference opponent, this is a non-conference game, it being in the tournament. And numbers like that without great senior leadership leading the way.
Well, depth and balance, certainly at the center position, but those are underclassmen, so expect a couple of senior wingers and a senior defenseman to leave their fingerprints all over this Beanpot. It starts with Brandon Yip, a good cycling. He set up Nick Bonino for that first goal to cut into the lead 2-1, and then the defenseman, Matt Gilroy, probably the best defenseman in Hockey East, maybe in the nation, with his great skill set. He sets up Bonito, tie the game, and then late in the third period, another senior. This time, Jason Lawrence, an absolute power play threat, scores the game winner.
That was a 4-3 win over Harvard in the first round. It's 21 years since Northeastern hoisted the Beanpot. Boston University has raised it 14 times since. One of these two schools will take home the beans tonight, the 57th Beanpot Championship. Ready to go here at the Garden. Annual Beanpot Tournament, the championship game for 2009, brought to you in part by Budweiser, by Hess, and by your New England Subaru dealers. We are ready for the introduction of the two teams ready to go at the championship. Let's go to ice level to PA announcer Jim Pryor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the TD Bank North Garden, the Game 4 of the 57th Annual Beanpot Championship. The championship game between the visiting team, your Terriers of Boston University, and your home team, the Huskies of Northeastern University. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the introduction of the starting lineups. First for the visiting team, your Huskies of Northeastern University. Starting at left wing, a freshman from Arada, Colorado, a #10, Steve Quayler. At center, a senior from St. Louis, Missouri, captain of the Huskies, a #26, Joe Vitale. At right wing, a sophomore from Coeur d'Alene, British Columbia, a #19, Wade McLeod. On left defense, a sophomore from Calgary, Alberta, a #7, Dan Nicolat. On right defense, a senior from Westbury, New York, #5, Louis Liotti. And starting in goal, a junior from Aldergrove, British Columbia, a #39, Brad Thiessen. The remaining Husky players, their coaching staff, Joe Carew, Albie O'Connor, Sebastian LaPlante, and their head coach, Mr. Greg Cronin. That was the whole team. And now for the visiting team, your Terriers of Boston University. Starting their left wing, a senior from Lynnfield, Massachusetts, number 10, Chris Higgins. At center, a sophomore from Winnipeg, Manitoba, number 33, Colin Wilson. At right wing, a sophomore from Saugus, Massachusetts, number 21, Jason Lawrence. On left defense, a junior from Waltham, Massachusetts, assistant captain of the Terriers, number 7, Brian Straight. On right defense, a senior from North Belmore, New York, co-captain of the Terriers, number 97, Matt Gilroy. And starting in goal, a freshman from Edmonton, Alberta, number 31, Karen Milan. The remaining Terrier players, their coaching staff, Mike Aragosian, Mike Babis, the associate head coach is David Quinn, and their head coach, Mr. Jack Barker. The on-ice official assigned to this game, number 30, Tim Lowe, number 42, Bob Bernard, number 7, Scott Henson, number 15, Tim Benedetto. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America and to those who serve to protect us, please rise, remove your hats for the presentation of the colors by the 319th Air Force Recruiting Squadron Color Guard from Boston, Massachusetts. Master Sergeant Kenneth Adamczyk, Master Sergeant Sean Jones, Technical Sergeant Stephen Grant, Staff Sergeant Christopher Mansfield, and Staff Sergeant Mikhail Weil. And for the singing of our national anthem by Ms. Lindsay Simic from Boston College.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Needless to say, it is a packed house tonight here at the TD Bank North Garden. The Terriers and the Huskies ready to do battle to see who will be top dog in 2009 at the Beanpot. The 57th annual Beanpot Championship ready to be played out here on the ice on Causeway Street. Two teams that have reached the top of the standings in the conference and nationally, and we go down to Don Orsillo with the coach of one of those teams. Don?
All right, TC, thank you very much. Coach Parker, you have to be amazed the way this tournament has progressed over the years. Tonight we're on in America, all over Canada.
It's amazing, that's right. And, to have it broadcast in Canada and have them see this tournament, college hockey at its greatest, and all the Canadians that are playing in this tournament is great for the exposure throughout Canada as well.
You guys have won 7 straight coming in. Is this the best hockey you played all year?
We played well all year long, in and out once in a while, but for the most part, we've been pretty steady. We probably played our best hockey about a month ago, though, so we'd like to get it cracked up again.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Back to you, TC.
Thank you, Don. He has coached to 20 championships. The Huskies, he played in 3 championship teams with the Terriers, not the Huskies. And there's the goaltender, the starting goaltenders, brought to you by Hess. You will see 2 of the best in the nation. Kieran Milan with a win tonight would have the best winning percentage after 20 games in school history. Brian DeRocher's mark back in the mid-1970s at stake. On the other side, Brad Thiessen last year won the Eberle Award as the top goalie in the Beanpot, and after a 45-save effort in Game 1, the semifinal win, he has a very good chance to win that again. More importantly, he has a chance, along with his teammates, to win the Beanpot, something the Huskies haven't done since 1988.
BU expects to be here. It's just innate as far as their program is concerned when you talk about the final of the Beanpot. The flip side of that is Northeastern, and they're here because of that team attitude of whatever it takes to win, TC. And they're going to have that attitude because BU is the top-ranked team in the nation.
Interestingly enough, Northeastern, the top-ranked team in Hockey East. They have the best conference record, but no one's thinking about a conference championship. These teams could well meet here again in March. But tonight, this is the only game that matters. It is Northeastern in the home white sweaters with the black and red trim, skating left to right. As you look at it here in the first, Boston University in the road red with the white trim, skating it out right to left. And quickly it is Northeastern getting it into the offensive zone, cycling it around on the left side, trying to get something in on Kieran Milan. Steve Quayler got it started, had a goal and an assist last week. Joe Vitale, the second-year captain of this team, gets it back to the point. The shot comes through and a save made there. Brick, you got your keys to the game.
Yeah, they're brought to you by the New England Subaru dealers. Let's start with Boston University. They're going to have to match Northeastern's intensity without a doubt, and you will bring it tonight. And in order to have their transition game, which is a key to their offense, they have to skate. If BU has their skating game with their skill set and their depth and balance, particularly up front with a mobile defense, they can really hurt you if they have their transition and their execution in that transition game.
The Huskies with the offensive zone draw, getting the win, getting it over to Jim Driscoll. He plays it in deep around the corner. Steve Silva, the sophomore in Tingsboro, down the corner battling for it there as it'll be played out to center ice by John McCarthy, the captain of the Terriers. Louis Leotti, long pass over to Chris Donovan, part of that line we talked about in the open line that was able to get it down low and through grit and hard work create some great opportunities for the Huskies last week.
And it starts with decision making. No matter who has the puck in the neutral zone, when you lay that puck in the offensive zone, put it in a spot where you have a chance to get it back, and no easy walkouts for BU.
And BU will try to walk it out here, and again got to pay the price, and the turnover back at the Northeastern blue line. Quickly they try to get it up in the offensive zone. Silva had it momentarily, bouncing around here on the right side. Alex Tuckerman tried to get in there. Boston University clears and will finish up a change as Northeastern sends it back in. First 2 minutes of play here in period number 1. Thanks for joining us. One team with 28 Beanpot championships, the other with 4, and none since 1988. At the time, the Huskies were the kings of the Beanpot. They'd won 4 that decade and were dominating play. Haven't won one since, but Husky Nation very hopeful that this could be the year that changes. Out behind the net, Northeastern having a tough time getting it out. Good forechecking there by Vinny Saponari, the freshman, hemming Northeastern in deep. Check it, David Warsofsky back here at center ice, trying to play it up ahead. Northeastern will settle it down.
And even with that pressure by the BU Terriers, you saw some composure by Northeastern. No panic when they were battling for pucks below their own goal line.
Northeastern with the only shot of the game so far here, as both teams have had to battle over every inch. Andrew Glass, the freshman out of Rentham in Noble and Greeno, didn't play in the semifinal, in the lineup tonight. He's down there in the corner battling for the puck. Out behind the net. It got by Glass, loose here to the near side. Now it'll be played out. Broken up by Straight. Brian Strait sends it right back in. Straight from Waltham and the U.S. National Development Team. As the Terriers looking for their first shot on net, Colin Wilson in there with Chris Higgins. Higgins down in the corner. Braces for the hit, keeps the puck alive. Jason Lawrence has control. He gets knocked into the boards, tries to keep the puck moving. Taken away by Vitale. Joe Vitale had the game winner with 2:44 left against Merrimack on Friday. Both these teams had to really battle to get their wins on Friday. The always dreaded game between the two Beanpot games.
BU against UMass Lowell needed 2 third-period goals in the final 10 minutes to win 5-3.
Northeastern breaking out 2-on-2. All the way up on the right side, Steve Quayler tied up, tried to get back after the puck himself. And a long stretch of hockey here without a whistle, and we keep playing as it comes out to center ice. David Strathman. We heard Jack Parker talk about the North American footprint of this game now. How about Strathman coming from Tempe, Arizona to play in this Beanpot? Brandon Yip into the offensive zone. Yip with a chance, whistles one wide. Nick Bonino had 2 goals in the semifinal. Got it started. Yip has it near side. Yip, as a freshman, had a huge goal in this very building. An overtime goal in the Hockey East Championship against Boston College. Was the Hockey East Rookie of the Year that season. There's the freshman defenseman, David Warsofsky, carrying it in. Scored his first collegiate goal in the win against UMass Lowell. That came after 14 assists. He was one of the top scoring defensemen on this team, but hadn't scored a goal yet. That changed last Friday. Eric Greiba. He had a 2-assist effort in the game on Friday against UMass Lowell. That was the first multi-point game of his 97-game career. A stay-at-home defenseman, if ever they had one in the Boston University Terriers. And you need that this year because they've got a lot of offensive-minded defensemen. They can join the rush at any time.
Yeah, and you can be a stay-at-home defenseman and still have a very good skill set, still be able to be a very good skater, but at this point, what's he relied on is more that stay-at-home and allow the other guys to jump into the play.
Bobby Orr needed a Don Orrery somewhere along the way.
And or a Dallas Smith.
That's exactly right. Puck dumped in around the left side. Northeastern will take it back. I think we've gone about 4.5 minutes here without a whistle as both teams, you talked about the decision making, they have been very careful. Nobody taking too many chances early on.
Yeah, neither team really able to establish any kind of forecheck because both clubs doing a nice job in their own zone.
There's an opportunity, but no. Whistled offside as Luke Popko was ready to tee it up. Things getting physical here in the early going. No score in the Beanpot Championship game.
About limiting your turnovers because of the BU transition game. The defenseman Strathman carrying the puck. Quayla tries to keep it alive, and you get an idea of BU by pushing the puck forward, using their speed, attacking wide, players driving to the net. At times, Tommy, it sounds simple, but that's that transition game, so be careful of where you turn the puck over in all 3 zones.
Just be on the 6-minute mark of this game. We've had 1 shot on net taken by Northeastern. What are their keys to the game, Rick?
Well, for Northeastern, it starts with that aggressive style, but it has to have discipline with it. They want to be physical. They want to establish that forecheck. Be physical, get in, get body contact. But as we just showed you, in that game plan, you have to limit your turnovers. And I think, without saying, it's implied that goaltending is obviously one of the keys for both squads.
And both teams have it in spades. They have, as we said, been 2 of the best in the nation. Here's a turnover right in front, and Teasen makes his first save of the night, and it was a point-blank big for the Terriers. Big hit on the far side as Shattenkirk lays down the hammer. Northeastern battling it after the puck. Carried out now by the Terriers. Up on the left side, Jason Lawrence taking it in. Lawrence leads the Terriers with 13 goals on the season. Had that game winner with 1:46 remaining against Harvard in the first round.
11 on the power play and 4 game winners.
He has made them count. Right here, the Terriers swarming in, trying to get something going on the forecheck. John McCarthy in there on the boards, taken there and dumped away by Wade McLeod. And we've got a whistle back behind the play here as tempers flaring a little bit. We'll have a hooking call. Take a look at that last chance for Chris Higgins.
Yeah, right off the face-off, take care of the puck. We just got through saying it, almost on cue. Limit your turnovers in all 3 zones, and Higgins with the mishandle. able to take that puck to the backhand. Thiessen with his first big stop. And now we'll get a look at the penalty that's going to come to the senior. McCarthy will go to the box. Just a little bit of hook in the neutral zone on a dump in, trying to establish that forecheck game by Northeastern. And the captain, one of the captains for BU, will go to the box.
So the power play for Northeastern, 2 for 4 against Boston College. It's been very good of late as you look at the numbers on the year. 18% on the year, but over 30% in the last 7 games.
No, that power play's not going to last very long.
That'll go as an 0 for 8 seconds into the power play.
Yeah, sometimes those statistics can be affected when you only have a power play for that amount of time, but good effort by BU right off the face-off to attack. Take the puck wide. Yip does a nice job. He's trying to do that little self-pass. Strathman, the defenseman, just trying to hold his ground and make a little body contact, but in the eyes of the officials, that's a penalty.
Interference is the call, so that 8-second power play makes it 0 for 1 officially. We now skate 4 on 4 here with 12:50 remaining in this first period of play. A lot of open ice here as Northeastern tries to get it out of the zone. Good forecheck by the freshman out of Duluth, Minnesota, Chris Connolly. Got Gilroy all the way back after it. Gilroy, an All-American each of the last 2 seasons, the only player in the nation coming into this year having been named to that honor. Comes back straight. Looks to find him on the far side. Pass out of the reach of Straight as Connolly plays it down into the corner. 2-man battle there. As Saponari was knocked down, back up. Now Northeastern carries out. Here's Janan all the way to the offensive zone as the rest of his teammates change on the fly. He bought them some time to do just that. 55 seconds to go in the matching penalty.
Janan tried that self-pass to go around Shattenkirk. Too big a body, too long a reach for it to be effective.
Brian Janan, 18 goals on the season, tied for the most of any player in Hockey East. Tyler McNeely hustling up into the corner to get after it. Higgins for Boston University plays it over to the far side. Shattenkirk gains the line, loses the puck, and then gets sent down to the rocks as Northeastern takes it away.
Well defended by Chisholm. Had good shoulder position in a one-on-one battle coming down the wing.
Here's McNeely. His blade went flying to the right as the puck went to the left. Boston University will bring it out. Here's Benito. 2 goals last week in the semifinal. Looking for his goal tonight here as he tries to get Boston University on the board. Good save Thiessen, and the Huskies bring it out. Dumped in left side as Chisholm sends it in, giving his team a chance to change up. Battle in the corner. Greiba trying to get there. Warsofsky over to help up and get it up the ice. Benito tried to flip it back to him. A turnover could help Northeastern. Nice spinning move there by McLeod, who fed it across the goal mouth, but it got in ahead of Strathman and got an ooh and an ah out of the big crowd here at the Garden.
He had a good game this week, too. 3 points to take over the team lead in that category with that win over Merrimack.
11 points in the last 5 games has really stepped it up for the Huskies. We have a more balanced attack now than anyone thought they would at the beginning of the season, but no scoring yet about midway through this first period of play. A beautiful spinorama pass from Wade McLeod, but we're scoreless in the Beanpot. As NESN's 25th anniversary celebration continues, you can help determine the greatest Red Sox game ever to air on the network. We want your vote in the Red Sox Classic Showdown. For the next 4 weeks, we'll air 2 classics every Monday night at 8 and 9, and after watching the games, go to NESN.com to vote for your favorite. Then watch the showdown unfold until the final round on March 30th. Tune in Monday at 8 for the first round. Then visit NESN.com to vote.
Well, after that spinorama move by McLeod, Northeastern had the puck the entire length of the ice. It started on a breakout feed by Nicolette, the defenseman, but that hit by Brandon Yip a little bit from behind, and he'll find his way to the penalty box in Northeastern with the man advantage. Maybe for more than 8 seconds.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't mind scoring off the face-off and making it 8 seconds, but other than that, yeah, they'd like it to last a little bit longer. And it already has. 10 seconds into the power play as the Huskies bring it all the way around behind their own net. A little confusion back there. Now they settle it down. as it'll be brought up the ice. And Hukin sent it over to his left. Now dumped in there. Getting back after it, back up to the point. McLeod, or McLaughlin rather, as it went over. McLaughlin had the McLeod out behind the net with Vitale. 3 Terriers in as Janan gets it back up top. It is McLaughlin playing it down. It gets by Vitale. Taken over here by Janan. Janan looking. Fires, it was blocked. And it comes back over to the near side. He'll try it again. Midway through the power play, as they get the quick touch over to Janan on the near side. Second effort, he gets the pass through. They get it back up top for the point. Northeastern fans getting restless here. They want something as McLeod plays it down low. Still time though. 45 seconds to go in the power play. Sent through and turned aside as McLaughlin took that shot. Taking it back from Hukin. Shoved ahead as Janan gets back on the near boards. Over to the left side with 25 seconds to go. Janan shoots, save, and Milan holds on. NESN's high-definition live coverage of the 57th Annual Beanpot Tournament is brought to you by SBLI. A good puck movement on that power play, but nothing to show for it. I think they got 2 shots on net through the whole thing.
Well, that's the downside of it. Even though they have the puck in the offensive zone for just about the entire power play, they're not getting anything on goal. They had 2 shots attempted that were blocked, one by Straight and one by Gilroy.
There's an opportunity in front, and Milan is called on to step up and stop Steve Silva, and he does just that.
Well, with the earlier power play unit, they try to work everything from the blue line. Here, they're going to make a play down low, close quarters, a little backhand feed from the corner. Silver, that puck on edge, he just wants to get it in the direction of the BU goaltender, Milan. He tried to get it up high, maybe short side over the glove, but good forechecking pressure.
The sophomore from Tingsboro looking for his 2nd goal of the season. Still 8 seconds to go on the power play. Cleared out now by BU.
And it was Tuckerman that got in on that face-off, TC. Got inside body position and the awareness to make that quick backhand feed.
Tuckerman had a strong game last Monday in the first game of this Beanpot. It was actually the 2nd game, but the first game for the Huskies. It was the late game, and some of the Huskies players saying that alone was the uncharted waters for them. They hadn't played the 8 o'clock game in a long time. First or 2nd Monday. Now they make it back-to-back 8 o'clock games at the Beanpot. Silva somehow manages to get control. McNeely in deep. He plays it from the corner. Tuckerman creating some space as he gets it up top. Liotti slides it across and gets it back. Louis Liotti was to fire it through the screen. Puck loose behind the net. McNeely down there battling for it. Wraparound bid. He comes over to the near boards. Liotti jumps up quickly to keep it in. Northeastern was trying to change. A big collision after the pass. Boston University manages to clear.
That looked like Donovan getting in on the forecheck like he did in round 1.
Trouble behind the net here as Milan came out. Misfired on the pass. Northeastern tried to take advantage. Warsofsky settles down and brings it out on the far side. And here, shot from Donovan. Rebound! Kicked wide as Milan makes a big save. Bodies and nets flying everywhere. We're scoreless in the first at the Garden.
Northeastern starting to establish that forechecking game. The Silva line creating all kinds of opportunities. Tuckerman, McNeely working the corners. Rebound, second chance opportunity. Silver had a wraparound chance. And then creating turnovers with body contact. Getting in passing lanes, neutral zone. Because Donovan made an earlier hit on Colin Wilson. Now your head gets picked up a little bit and you lose sight of the puck. What a shift. In succession, I should say, 2 shifts. The Silva line. And then Costa and Donovan come right back out with a solid follow-up.
Well, if there were any nerves being in the championship game for the first time since 2005 and the pressure of all the Husky fans who want this to be the year, they have not shown it in the early going, has certainly taken the play to BU much of this period.
I think their ability to manage round one, the first 5 or 10 minutes, has really put them in a good mental state as far as knowing they belong on the ice with BU.
Greg Cronin talked about it, said there were a lot of nerves, and he was concerned at the beginning of last week's game, but then as the game went on and they were able to assert themselves and emphatically beat that Boston College team, he thought that would carry over to this game, and seems to have so far.
And they really had a great killer instinct in round one against BC. They didn't just play the score, they played the entire 60 minutes. Zach
Cohen had a goal in the first game of Boston University's win, that 4-3 win over Harvard. He just brought it up on the left side. Glove down now and battled over right at the center stripe. Connolly tried to give chase. It'll be taken over on the far side. Dennis Chisholm will settle it down. He let the emotions perhaps get away from him a little bit in that game. Actually thrown in a punch on Brock Bradford. Sat out Friday's game. Was disqualified, but he's back in there tonight. Tonight's Beanpot Championship game is available in the U.S. on NESN and in Canada on Rogers Sportsnet, Canada's live event high-definition leader. We're happy to announce that Rogers Sportsnet will also be carrying NESN's Hockey East Friday night coverage beginning Friday, February 20th at 7:30 when Boston College goes up to UNH. Canadian hockey fans will now get to see 7 more games featuring Hockey East teams, including the conference semifinals and finals. Check local listings for availability in your area. I like to think it's a coincidence that Rogers Sportsnet is picking up that game first while I'm in Fort Myers covering the Red Sox. I think that's simply a coincidence. Battle for the puck down in the corner as they scramble over it. 4-man scrum forming here. Boston University has been outshot 7-2 here in the early going so far. Trying to get that puck out of the corner and get something going. Popko leaving it in there. Andrew Glass out behind will take it out, turn away from traffic. Now shielding it as they go into the corner. 5:25 our time remaining here in period number 1. And the penalty here will be a holding call, and you could almost sense it was coming. Either they were going to get it out of the zone or they were going to commit a penalty, and sure enough, BU's headed for the power play.
Strong shift by the fourth line for BU. They had good puck possession and protection, a lot of one-on-one battles, and finally the defenseman for Northeastern, Hukin, will go to the box. Just a little too long on the grab in his one-on-one battle, and he argued the call because he was backing off towards his own goal, trying to keep his man, Glass, and the puck between himself, and lost the argument. Will end up in the box anyway.
It'll be the second power play of the game for Boston University. Their first one lasted 8 seconds as well. That was the back end of that concurrent penalties.
Symmetry.
There you go. Now they'll try to do what Northeastern couldn't do, and that's score on the second power play and end the symmetry right there. Perry's with the puck in the offensive zone. Colby Cohen, the defenseman, tees it up with a big shot. It goes wide. You guys on Jason Lawrence, 11 goals on the season, is the second most on the nation on the power play. 11 power play goals. Lawrence on the man advantage this year. Puck down in the corner. And he got a penalty against Northeastern here. So with 1:23 remaining on the first penalty, it'll be a 5-on-3 power play, and Greg Cronin does not like what he sees.
And he shouldn't, because one of the keys to Northeastern was that disciplined aggression. You want to play physical, especially against the BU top offensive guys, but Liotti a little too aggressive on the body contact and the high stick, and he'll join Hukin, another defenseman in the box for Northeastern. And what an opportunity for the Terriers. 5-on-3, lengthy at 1:23.
And an offensive zone draw to get it started. Won by Northeastern, those end zone faceoffs, so important. Glove down by Warsofsky, but a good effort as Rassi was able to just get it over the line. They get the offside call, so it moves back a zone.
Rob Rassi's the third element, or the third player of that line that we highlighted in the open, as you get a look at BU and their potent power play in the last 8 games, those 16 power play goals. But Rassi did a nice job in that 5-on-3. But there's no panic in BU. You just take the offside reset.
Nearly 25% on the season, the best in the nation. And it has been one of their biggest strengths all season long. Gilroy, a big part of the reason why. Back and forth here. Now over to Warsofsky. Plays it wide to Yip. Back up top for Gilroy. He looks. Yip thought about it. Got it back. As they slowly get closer, the shot from Gilroy, a save from Thiessen, and he holds on.
Thiessen got a good look at this, even though McCarthy's working the front of the net. When Gilroy lets that good wrist shot go from outside the tops of the circles after the quick puck movement by the 5-man BU power play, you can see from that replay a pretty good line of vision for Thiessen. Thiessen, a quick push left to right, back right to left, square to the shot, out aggressive, right near the top of the crease.
See the numbers, 45 saves in that first game, tying his career best. Higgins taking it down low. Cohen sliding it across. Takes it back from Shattenkirk, scores! Power play goal! And Boston University is on the board first.
Well, the BU fans enjoying this 5-on-3. The good, hard, crisp passing, particularly out high. And Cohen is going to set up for the one-timer. Shattenkirk looking down low. You try to move that puck in a 5-on-3. Down low, out high, as quickly as you possibly can in order to get the defending team in their triangle formation have to move. When they move, there are more seams created. Not that there aren't enough already in a 5-on-3, but that overhead will show you exactly where that puck went on the one-timer by Cohen, over the blocker, under the crossbar, the inside mesh. Clearly a goal, and this will be a power play goal and a 1-0 lead for BU. One more look from the overhead. Thiessen trying to move with that puck. When the puck is moved quick and it's moved sharply, and it's put in the position right where you want it. And if you're the one-timer and you get that puck in a perfect position, it adds acceleration to the shot. Cohen let a bomb go.
Saw Tim Benedetto, the referee, along with Scott Hansen, signaling for the goal. They do have review here in the Beanpot with the facilities here as used in the National Hockey League and in college hockey. When they have review capability, they will use it, and they do here. They reviewed it. It is obviously a goal, as you said.
And still another minute or so to go on a 5-on-4 now for BU. So critical penalty kill right here for Northeastern.
Just the fourth shot of the game for Boston University, and they're able to get one by Brad Thiessen. A clearing attempt went off the face of the referee there. And you can see Scott Hansen down in the corner.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a delay to get somebody down to help him out because he's in that area of the rink where neither bench can really see that corner. So with the official on the ice and some obvious pain, a little bit of a delay to get somebody down there because he was in some agony. You know, if you looked at the replay and you took it back, TC, twice Northeastern tried to go around the boards, and both officials, I believe, got hit with pucks in similar situations.
The training staff coming out to tend to Scott Hansen. .320 the time remaining here in the first period, and obviously a very quiet TD Bank North Garden at the moment. Maybe helped up to his feet and helped off the ice.
And there's just so much that you have to take into account as an official, particularly a referee, where you're not just concentrating on the lines. You know, if you're a linesman, and you know, it's so difficult to watch all players, watch the puck, have a good feel for the game. You know, referees, it's so difficult to stay out of the way, and as this puck gets wrapped around from one side to the other, the official, the referee, you can see him in that you know, top middle of your screen. He's just in the wrong place at the wrong time with no real opportunity to defend himself.
They will clean up the ice there, and obviously we will go now with one referee. It'll be Scott Hansen, or Tim Benedetto, as Scott Hansen has helped off. So they will discuss that real quick, and as they do, we'll take a break and come back with more. 1-0 Boston University leading here in the first. Welcome you back. 1-0 BU leading Northeastern. Let's go down real quickly to Don Orsillo. Don.
All right, TC, thanks very much. BU on top, 1-0. It's been a long time for these Northeastern Huskies. 1988, the last time they were winners in the Beanpot Final. As we send it back to Tom Karen, TC.
All right, Don, thanks very much. Take a look at how things have changed since that 1988 Beanpot. Kind of sad that $2.6 billion deficit was so small back then. And that's the one that shakes me up the most out of all that, I think. All right, we're back underway. As we said, Boston University, 14 Beanpots since Northeastern won its last. Blocked there, still on the power play here with 15 seconds now remaining. Another shot from way out. Nice quick pad save from Teason, and the Huskies clear.
Colin Wilson rotated all the way back into that one-timer position, a left-handed shot. A forward who's usually down closer to the net, but in that instance, a pretty good one-timer. Teason got it with the right pad.
Wilson now gains the line, tried to play it up ahead. Taken away and cleared. It was after the end of the penalty. And so the icing is called as we take another look at that graphic. Movie tickets were cheaper, and look at the NHL stars who were born that year. By the way, the update, I was just told, it's over $10 trillion now, the national federal debt. But it was a happy time, as we said. You know, Wayne Turner, of course, the famous overtime goal in 1980, the first one for Northeastern. And just like that, suddenly Northeastern reeled off 4 in 8 years, and who knew there wouldn't be another one until possibly this year.
And that handsome fella down at ice level was a freshman at Northeastern back in '88.
And who knew that he would become the legendary voice of the Boston Red Sox. Welcome Don Orsillo to our Beanpot broadcast tonight, as he gets his last cold weather assignment, I believe, before heading south. Getting a long road to the baseball season. Loose puck is kicked away. Gryba sends it out. At center ice. Swooping back in. They try to work it from the right. Steve Silva had his pass broken up. Silva reaching in. And now it's a two-man breakout. 2-on-2. Zach Cohen tries to dangle in on the left, stolen, and Silva leads the charge the other way. The Huskies have the numbers if they hurry. Silva fires it in wide to the right. Tuckerman gives chase. Boston University takes it with a minute and a half remaining. A 1-0 lead for BU. Coming on a 5-on-3 power play. Colby Cohen getting his 4th of the season. Shattenkirk and Wilson assisting. We want to remind you that Bud Light is hosting 2 parties tonight at the Harp and at Hurricane O'Reilly's. College hockey fans are enjoying Bud Light while watching Beanpot coverage on NESN, and they're also winning great prizes. Sounds like a pretty good way to spend a Monday in February. A full house, and by the way, Boston College winning the consolation game just before the final minute of play. Ben Ferrio scoring the winning goal for the Eagles. Battle there. Popko laid the hit. He will get penalized for it as Northeastern will bring it out. They gain the offensive zone, and now the whistle blows. So with a minute 10 remaining, it'll be a power play opportunity for the Huskies.
Well, BU trying to establish that physical forecheck themselves right off the face-off in the offensive zone. A face-off won cleanly by Northeastern. Popko, I'm not sure if he intended to lose the draw. It didn't look like it, but he wanted to get in quickly on the forecheck, and that body contact on Driscoll ruled a boarding call. Popko will go to the box, and an opportunity here for Northeastern to match BU's power play goal. It won't be a 5-on-3, but a chance with the man advantage to possibly tie the hockey game.
And they win the draw in the offensive zone. All the way over, they get it to Janan in the circle. He turns away from traffic to get it. Team Vitale trying to get it. Battling with Yip now. Gilroy behind the net, clears it as it does. Bounced by Mike McLaughlin.
He got down on both knees, too, to try to get his entire body in front of that puck, and somehow it had eyes.
45 seconds of time remaining as the Huskies start up ice once again. Vitale goes in hard, able to get it, centers in front. Janan, 1 time, 2 times, stop. Whistle blows as Everybody kind of stood there for a moment. The puck had come way out, but the whistle blew as they believe Milan had the puck.
Well, Janan wraps this puck around, and I'm not sure I understand why Milan, the BU goaltender, would stop that puck and then shoot it around the same direction Janan was shooting it, because that's where the Husky support will be. That's what it was intended on the wraparound. And Vitali was able to knock that puck down and quickly get it right out to Janan for 2 opportunities from close range.
Well, the opportunities for both sides certainly picking up here over the last 5 minutes. Boston University getting the 5-on-3 power play goal. Northeastern off the draw, trying to get something here in the final seconds. The pass in front, Vitali knocked down, rebound, score! McLaughlin buries it with 26 seconds remaining.
And there was going to be a penalty on the play to BU. Shattenkirk had an opportunity with his long reach when he corralled the puck off the face-off to try and get it out of BU's end. Couldn't quite do it. Northeastern, with that determined effort, able to keep this play alive along the boards. Hukin takes the body. Janan rotates back, finds McLeod. McLeod makes a great pass to Vitali. That was the delayed penalty that was coming. And then McLaughlin comes all the way in from the point, and the presence of mind to get that leverage in order to go up top real quick, right under the crossbar, 4th of the year, to tie the hockey game.
How often do we talk about freshmen in the Beanpot? It always seems they manage to step up. The freshman from Seaforth, Ontario, in the Aurora Tigers, getting his 4th. And a discussion now down by the Boston University bench.
Well, I don't know if the discussion is about that delayed penalty, TC, to BU, and if it affects the manpower situation with Popko already in the box and Northeastern on the power play.
A power play goal, obviously, so I believe the ruling there, Brick, is the delayed penalty led to the goal, and therefore the 116 remains on the first penalty.
Well, they needed an explanation at ice level, certainly, and with the absence of one of the officials by taking a puck up into the face, all of it really resting on Tim Benedetto right now.
And it seems like I interpreted it wrong, because it looks now like they will begin a new power play, and that's what I think Boston University is arguing.
Well, I was concerned about the manpower. That was my whole point about what happens when there's a delayed penalty, when there's already a power play in motion. And I think that Northeastern stays on the power play as a result. And, yeah, the discussion is whether it's 2 minutes.
Right, or 116.
Or the remaining.
Right.
Exactly.
And they put 2 minutes up for the penalty to Higgins, so they say that power play goal was the end of the Popko penalty, and then the delayed penalty begins now.
Yeah, one more look at the Higgins penalty. He's diving back, and even though he makes a play on the puck, he also knocks down Vitali, and that's your minor penalty. So not only does Northeastern tie it, much like BU after they scored in the 5-on-3, still had power play time. Now Northeastern with a full 2 minutes with the man advantage, looking to get some separation on the scoreboard.
They have tied it up. The freshman, as we said, his 4th of the year, looking for maybe a last chance here in the final 10 seconds. BU just clears it out to neutral ice, bounces out of play there, so with 4.7 seconds remaining, we'll get a drop of the puck, and unless something happens here in these last 5 seconds, it'll be a power play to begin the second period for the Huskies.
So Mike McLaughlin from Seaforth, Ontario. I imagine the people watching on Rogers gotta like that.
The hometown folks cheering on, and this Beanpot has become much more than just a hometown tournament here in Boston. It was Colby Cohen for the Boston University Terriers getting his 4th of the year, and answered back in the final minute by Mike McLaughlin, his 4th of the season. We are tied at 1 after 1 as the Huskies answer back. The 57th Beanpot Championship underway as the Terriers head to the dressing room. We head down to our garden studio to Bob Beers and Brendan Walsh. Guys?
early?
I mean, everyone was a little nervous coming out the gate. There's a lot of fans out there yelling, and I think it was nice to get the first couple goals out of the way. I mean, the game wasn't going to be a 0-0 game, so, we get one, they get one, and, now we can just play hockey. And I'm sure they were a little nervous coming into the game, too, so.
Tell me a little bit about your goal. What happened?
We just worked the puck around well, just like we've done all year. I mean, Higgins, Lawrence, Wilson, Shattenkirk, everyone's a great feeder. Everyone can score, and Shatty just gave me one right on the tape, and I just tried to, scouting report says shoot high on Thiessen, so that's what I did.
Lastly, you surprised by anything you saw out there from Northeastern in the early going?
No, I mean, it's pretty much Northeastern. They work hard, they bump you, and they just try to get pucks deep and work hard. It's nothing we haven't seen before in the last, my 2 years here or earlier in the season.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Back to Bob.
Can join that attack. Northeastern last week, that very impressive 6-1 win, and so far an impressive start tonight for both squads. 1-1 our score. Northeastern, though, with the man advantage now for 1:25 to go here in the first period. Over to the left side, a shot there from Hukin, but his stick broke on the shot. Boston University able to clear, and Brandon Yip's got an opportunity. Yip going in short-handed. Save made. Tees into the rebound. Score! No one could find the puck, but Nick Bonino did, and he gets his third goal of this Beanpot.
Interesting comments between periods. Kobe Cohen for the BU Terriers, who scored the first goal when he ripped one short side high on the power play. How about Brandon Yip? He tries to beat Tees into the glove side high. That one up over the crossbar. Bonino comes late following the play up, and where does his shot go? High again, right up under the crossbar, this time on the blocker side, much where Cohen's was on the first goal for BU in the first period. But the break that BU gets, the broken stick by Hukin, he has to go all the way across the ice to get a new stick. And McLaughlin, who had the goal for Northeastern in the first period, tried to make a diving play to keep the puck in the offensive zone. That led to the breakaway for Yip.
10th goal of the season for Bonino. 3 of them have come in the Beanpot. Had the 2 against Harvard last week. Had a 2-assist night against UMass Lowell in the middle. In fact, he now has, in 4 Beanpot games played, at least 1 goal in each of the games he's played in the Beanpot. So Nick Bonino, the sophomore out of Unionville, Connecticut, and Avon Old Farms, enjoys these Mondays in February. Still 22 seconds remaining on the Northeastern power play. That'll be cleared length of the ice, and still 6 total shots on net, even strength. Everything's been done on power play time here, including that shorthanded goal.
You just got to have a little awareness. You got to understand that Hukin wasn't in position yet to get his stick and get back and be in the neutral zone. And McLaughlin took a high-risk play.
That one goes high over the crossbar as the penalty comes to an end. Now we skate 5-on-5, but Northeastern has possession of the puck here. Shot from the far side, bouncing around in front. As Costa got a piece of it. Now it's Chisholm keeping it from the left side. Backhander at the doorstep. Milan able to make the save. And Northeastern keeping the pressure on after the power play. That one's redirected over to the corner. McNeely in there battling for it. Silva there as well for the Huskies, and it comes up and out of play.
Well, the broken stick, it's untimely, number one, because perhaps an offensive chance goes by the boards. And as Hukin goes to the bench to get a new stick, McLaughlin tries to make the dive, and that's to Brandon Yip's advantage. Great speed through the middle of the neutral zone, attack Thiessen. Thiessen was in pretty good position when Yip's shot went up over the crossbar, but the awareness of Bonino to follow the play up, get up. Maybe there's a second chance opportunity, even if it's not a save, and he buries it.
You really saw it on that replay. As Boston University tries to take advantage of a turnover here, they've got the puck in the offensive zone, and they've got a 2-1 lead. It's Colin Wilson. Gets it to Lawrence, back to Wilson in front. Got all the way through to the near boards. Northeastern will carry it out. You can see 3 skaters and a goalie looking up for the puck, and Bonino darting in from the blue line. With that awareness came the opportunity, and ultimately his 10th goal of the season. 17 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in this second period of play. We're 2-1 lead, Boston University. By the way, we do want to mention that Tom Firer, who was a referee in the first game, the consolation game tonight, has been pressed into duty. He jumps in here and takes the place of Scott Hansen, who was injured. I'll let you know if any report on Hansen becomes available. They have taken him on to the hospital, we're told, to get that looked at and get treatment. So Boston University now, Shattenkirk, the defenseman, all the way around from behind the net. A backhander goes high. Luke Popko after it. A penalty coming up against Northeastern as Teason makes the save and he holds on. Let's go down to ice level and bring Don Orsillo back in. Don.
All right, TC, thank you very much. Talked to assistant coach for NU, Albie O'Connell, in between periods. They're actually pretty happy with the way the first period went. 5-on-3 was certainly a setback they didn't want, but they thought there was some nervousness and hoping that'll go away here in the second period and get more shots. Back to you, TC.
All right, Don, going to be tough to do that with the man in the box. Driscoll heads in for the penalty.
That was a nice rush up by Shattenkirk after he took a little feed from Glass. A couple of moves to the outside, used the net as his ally when he swung around again, trying to go up high, this time on a backhand wrap around, and Driscoll with the penalty in his own zone.
And so it is the fourth power play of the game for Boston University. They are 1 for 3 on the man advantage, and we've had 2 power play goals and a shorthanded goal, so everything's been happening with the man in the box so far. Trying to send McCarthy in. It comes all the way around behind the net. McCarthy stays with it. And Bonino now gets it up top for Yip. Yip leaves it for Gilroy. He finds some space. Now finds Yip. His shot, save made. Teason. Rebound hopped off the stick of Vinny Saponari. Saponari, the freshman out of Powder Springs, Georgia. And the U.S. National Development Team. Now an opportunity here as McLeod comes into the doorstep, and he just lost the handle. It rolled off his stick as he cut back to the front of the net. Each side of the power play goal, we almost saw each side of the shorthanded goal there.
We saw McLeod make that spinorama move in the first period. He sold it again here shorthanded and was able to hang on to the puck and cut to the front of the net on the forehand. And at the last second, the puck slid off the blade of his stick.
It is Colby Cohen carrying it up. Cohen had the first goal of this one as Lawrence comes through, fires the shot on Teason, and he covers that up.
Shorthanded opportunity for Northeastern in the neutral zone. Body contact, knocks Bonino off the puck, wins a foot race with Gilroy, and that little fake spinorama move allows him that separation. It creates a lane, short side to the net, just couldn't quite finish off the play. Good effort by the Northeastern Husky forward in a shorthanded situation.
He picked up his 28th point with his team leading 17th assist on the McLaughlin goal in the final minute of the first period. That's already more than he had last year. 27 points as a freshman was third most in Hockey East amongst freshmen. This year, already topping that with 28 points and counting. Still 23 seconds to go in the power plays. Boston University starts up the ice. Wilson all the way down low. It got through everybody, but Colby Cohen keeps it in. Cohen drifts to the left. Shattenkirk gives it to Colin Wilson on the right. He got the pass through to the corner. Final seconds on the power play winding down. That one stopped in front. We're back to even strength as Driscoll comes out of the box.
Looked like Teason got a left pad on that wrap in there, tight by Lawrence.
Here's Wilson, a nice move. He dances up, and Driscoll just out of the box. Carries over the blue line and dumps in as he takes the hit. That one will come all the way in. It'll be icing on Boston University as the Terriers have a 2-1 lead here in the second period of the Beanpot Championship game. This weekend, Champions Cup Tennis returns to Nesson. This year's fields includes Pete Sampras, John McEnroe, Jim Courier, and a special mixed doubles appearance by Anna Kournikova. Nesson serves up coverage of the weekend tournament from McGinnis Arena on the campus of Boston University beginning Friday night after the Bruins doubles game. Left wing circle face-off. Shots even up now at 11 apiece. Northeastern with the offensive zone draw opportunity, but it gets by everybody, and Joe Pereira staying with it. Say a hand pass. It took a long time for him to reel that pass in. That's why it took a long time to get that whistle.
Well, Pereira trying to use his speed to the outside, unawares that this play was going to be called back for the hand pass coming out of the BU zone.
Boston University has given up 54 goals at this point. Last year at this point, they'd given up 87 goals, so about 33 fewer goals, and it all begins with defense. And they have certainly tightened that thing up while putting one of the best offensive teams out on the ice.
Well, that speaks to that transition game, Tom. You know, we talked about it in the open. One of the keys for BU, transition from defense to offense. If you have that shutdown defense where you control where the offensive team is trying to go, angle them, position them where you want, make them make mistakes with the puck, and then what you do with it when you get it is all about transition. When you have the skills and the depth and the balance that BU has, that's the way they want to play.
That was an icing call there, so it'll come all the way back to the right wing circle of the offensive zone for the Terriers. Janan will step in. Bonino wins it back. Yip with the quick shot. It was blocked. And the follow-up shot comes through the crease. So Boston University has been applying some pretty good pressure here in the second period. On Brad Teason and the Huskies. Bonino with the shorthanded goal that gave them the lead. Tries to keep it going here, but this one comes all the way back. Kept in by Greiba. Wraparound bit. Bonino trying to stuff it in. Puck deflected on the far side. Cleared away. Trying to win the race here. McCauley cuts back away and finds some room. McCauley now. Got to go off the skate of Driscoll. And Janan out behind the net. Trying to take it away, but Driscoll keeps it in. Janan turns, fires. It's blocked. Chipped away. They try to spring Yip. Yip couldn't reel in the puck, and the Huskies were able to keep it in. Good effort by the Huskies here to keep the Terriers from breaking it out. McNeely takes the hit, has the puck taken away. Yip at the end of a long shift. The Huskies were changing up as Yip comes across center to dump it in. He'll come off.
McCauley had that cutback move, but you got to give BU credit to everybody on the backside pressure, forcing McCauley to look off a number of passing opportunities because of that bad check.
There's an opportunity for Brian Straight. Straight coming all the way up to the doorstep, but hustling all the way back was Driscoll. And a 4-on-2 developing for the Huskies if they hurry. McNeely into the offensive zone, drops it back. Big shot, sails wide as Alex Tuckerman had the slapper teed up. McNeely played it out to the front. Now Zach Cohen bringing it out the other way. Going end to end here, and a penalty coming up against the Terriers. The Huskies headed to the power play. It'll be Vinny Saponari heading to the box.
Well, after the McCauley cutback move, BU tries to make a play from behind their own, behind the offensive goal, and it led to a numbered rush, 4-on-2 potentially. The pass by Silva looking for McNeely, probably not the best decision because it kind of slowed the play down because it wasn't tape to tape, blade to blade, but yet they still get a pretty good opportunity with Tuckerman coming late. And then in the neutral zone, in transition, BU, Saponari, guilty of the penalty.
Fifth power play of the game for the Huskies. 1 for 4 on the man advantage. Well, it wasn't a 5-on-3. It came on the power play with a delayed call coming. That'll be cleared out by the Terriers. 20 seconds gone on the power play for the Huskies. 1 point this year, the Terriers were 35th in the nation in penalty killing, but since then they have gone on a tear. Just 7 power play goals allowed over the last 95 opportunities. They've now moved up to 8th best in the country. Greiba gets back, tries to clear. The Huskies keep it in the offensive zone. Janan down around behind the net. Going to get to McLeod. Wade McLeod trying to get it back. Popko hustles over. Janan recovers. Now the Terriers control. That'll be cleared out length of the ice by Colby Cohn as he comes out. Fresh penalty killing unit coming out for Jack Parker. A little tangle up behind the net. Now the Huskies get it out, but the Terriers will take it right back. Again, linesman just able to get out of the way of a hard fired puck. Mike Euchen cooling things down. He's the sophomore out of St. Charles, Missouri. For the New Jersey Hitmen in junior hockey before I come to Northeastern. Been a messy power play from end to end here for the Huskies this time around.
And good penalty killing is the flip side of that. And Greiber made a nice play in his own zone, no panic, uses defense partner when there's a battle along the boards, and a one-man forecheck by Bonino in the offensive zone.
Quayler was able to skate through 3 Terriers there. Final 5 seconds of the power play for the Huskies coming to an end, so they are back to even strength now. 1 for 5 officially. Shot sails through, score! McNeely all alone in front, and we're tied at 2.
Well, after a quality penalty kill by the BU Terriers, you get into that dangerous time when the team gets back to 5-on-5, and the problem is you had 3 BU Terriers kind of sniffing that puck in the corner of the rink. That opens up for that shot from the right point. The overhead will show where McNeely will go, right to the top of the crease. He's the one that actually gets the redirect. Milan doesn't really get a chance to save it, and he just pulls it around and has a wide open net. But you have to go back to the fact that BU had 3 players in one corner of the rink. Somebody's going to be open. Not only was the right point open, but the front of the net had 2 Northeastern players right at the top, and McNeely able to corral that puck and tie the hockey game.
So often a redirect won't beat a goal, but it'll lead to a goal. And in that case, just getting a little piece of it, as Teason gets a big piece of that there. That ability of McNeely to get a little piece of the shot coming through kept the goaltender from playing it cleanly, kept the puck alive. Boston University in the offensive zone. This game tied up at 2 here.
I like that shot by Stratman from the right point. Very tippable.
Straight on a second effort, tried to play it out in front from behind the net. It comes all the way through the neutral ice.
He got rid of it quick. It was just a wrist shot. He knew he had 3 BU players in the corner. He knew he had a chance for a 2-on-1 in front of the net. Release that puck, get it there. He had Quayler as well as McNeely rotating back to the front of the net.
Wilson keeping the puck alive on the far side. In front, score! Lawrence! And once again, Boston University reclaims a 1-goal lead.
Well, they've been a dominant team all year long in even strength situations. And after they make a mistake to allow the Huskies to tie the hockey game, they play to their strength. They play 5-on-5. They get the cycle game going. The nice rotation by the Wilson-Higgins-Lawrence line, and Higgins is going to find Lawrence from one side of the ice to the opposite side of the top of the crease. And all Lawrence has to do is redirect a perfect pass to reestablish a 1-goal lead for BU.
So back and forth we go. This is the 3rd time tonight that the Terriers have had a 1-goal lead. Twice so far the Huskies have been able to get the equalizer. Quayler trying to keep that trend going. McLeod battling in there with Colby Cohen. McLeod able to dig it out along the boards and play it in deep for Quayler. Looking for Vitale. Tried a little backhand shot. Couldn't gain the leverage to get it on net. It's cleared out by Boston University. Cohen gets a piece of it. It goes all the way in deep to BU, and the Huskies will change up on the fly as the Terriers bring it up the ice. Jason Lawrence just scored his team-leading 14th goal of the season. Boston University trying to get its first 2-goal lead of the game. Rebound out in front. Steered around behind the net. Teason will dive out and cover that up as Joe Pereira is banging in looking for the rebound. So back and forth we go. McNeely tying it up at 2, but then Lawrence giving the Terriers a 1-goal lead. It's 3-2 Boston University here in the second. NESN.com and tune in to Sports Desk for complete coverage of the face-off between the league's 2 top teams. At the end of the week, the Bees hit the road for back-to-back games in New Jersey and Nashville. Coverage begins Friday at 6:30 and Saturday at 7:30 on WB Mason Bruins Face-Off Live, only on NESN. I've got a good one here. As it's a one-goal game again, Andrew Glass off the draw, got the quick shot, deflected up into the seats. 7:43 our time remaining. And maybe the only surprise so far, Brick, is that we've had 5 goals. These two great goaltenders out there, and we've had some scoring tonight.
Well, it speaks to the determination of the Huskies, number one, because that is such a huge part of their game plan, and then the skill of BU in their transition game and their ability to bounce back, even though they give up a tying goal, you know, after a good quality penalty kill. So a lot of elements to both teams' game on display here in this Beanpot Final.
You're talking about goalies with save percentages of .935 and .930, giving up 3 goals on 16 shots, 2 goals on 12 shots. So there haven't been a ton of shots coming in on the goalies, but they've been testing.
Well, the 5-on-3 goal, difficult to, fault teasing on that one. The Lawrence goal to give them the 3-2 lead, not really much of an opportunity to make a save on that. And then the bounce off the glass on the shorthanded goal by Benino after the breakaway by Yip. I know Thiesen's going to be a little bit victimized as far as the 3 goals he's given up. As far as Milan, the power play goal was a thing of beauty. McLaughlin right before the end of the first period. Maybe if he had an opportunity to get to that puck before McNeely did, maybe he prevents the second goal for Northeastern.
Whatever Jack Parker said between periods, and he's had a few between period speeches to give over the years, it has worked. BU was outshot 10-6 in the first, out shooting the Huskies 10-2 here in the second.
The sunny warmth of Fort Myers is just around the corner. This year, Nesson's 50 days of spring break coverage includes 6 live morning specials, nightly reports on Sports Desk, Nesson.com updates, 9 live games, and more from Don, Jerry, Heidi, and TC. It's all brought to you by Jordan's Furniture. Nesson spring break kicks off Thursday live from Fort Myers at 7.
It's the only part of the country where an 18-wheeler pulling out of a ballpark on a February afternoon is the headline news of the day. The equipment truck arriving, the equipment being set up, and our team getting in there right behind it. We'll be down there for Thursday night special, the day pitchers and catchers report baseball and palm trees. Maybe we actually will make it through this one. Penalty coming up here as the delayed call. Gilroy trying to take advantage as that goes off a skate, and it'll be Boston University up a goal, going up a man here with 6:33 remaining.
BU wants to play a skating game. That's another thing they talked about prior to tonight's contest against NU. They hang on to the puck in the offensive zone. If you're going to get penalties, you want them to be real, and unfortunately for NU, this really wasn't a penalty because they want to play that aggressive style, and they don't want to create penalties or power plays for BU by being overly aggressive, and that clearly wasn't the case. Tough break for Rob Rassi going to the box for a trip.
That's the 5th power play now for Boston University. Each team with 5 on the night, 1 for 4, and Boston University has worked it around pretty well. Last time out, Northeastern did have a shorthanded opportunity on the rush.
Yeah, it was McLeod with that little fake spin-a-rammer after he had some good work with body contact on Benino in center ice.
So now Gilroy keeping it in on the right side and just able to poke that puck as it stayed on the blue line. Big shot offside, hit a post. Yip had it teed up. 40 seconds gone on the power play. Boston University with the power play goal tonight, a short-handed goal tonight, and an even strength goal tonight. Here's Benino. Gloved by Thiessen, and he holds on amidst some traffic.
Well, if both Gilroy and Benino don't make nice plays with quick hands out by the blue line, Yip doesn't get the one-timer opportunity. Because Gilroy was able to one-touch it back to Benino, who quickly got it back to Gilroy, who found Yip for that beautiful one-timer just outside the tops of the circles on the off-wing side. They don't get that chance. Unfortunately for Northeastern, that puck caught all iron.
Shattenkirk setting it up on the right point. Wilson has it in the circle, finds it through. Misfired, but Higgins steps up. Gets it back to Shattenkirk. Quick passing. Wilson can't control. Wilson knocked off the puck. They battle for it there. As it comes all the way around, Wilson steps up to keep it in. Wilson playing it back for Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk able to keep it away. Shot on the right side. Teasen with a save, and he dives out and covers up. Good puck movement there. Boston University pressuring. Northeastern bends, but they don't break.
And a big save and a big tie-up on the rebound by Teasen because Northeastern was in tough shape.
You can see the numbers. Northeastern has been down the path of these tough games before. Had to battle back with a strong third period on Friday night in the game against Merrimack, and came from behind. They were down earlier in the season, part of that long winning streak they had. And here, twice tonight, they battled for the 1-goal deficit. They find themselves there again, looking for the equalizer, shorthanded.
And Northeastern was in tough shape because Chris Donovan had broken his stick on a clearing attempt from the corner of the rink after Northeastern freed the puck up. Hukin made a nice play to go behind his net indirect. Here's Donovan with a chance to clear it. And you can see from that replay the shaft of the stick of Donovan just snapping. And that allows BU not only to keep the puck in the offensive zone and keep the pressure on. You have a penalty killer without a stick.
Still 18 seconds to go on the penalty to Rassi. The power play for Boston University continuing. They'll try to get it in the zone and set something up here before it comes to an end. Gilroy carries in. Yip now on the right side. Playing it around behind the net. Yip in front, just sent it wide. Now Benito trying to wrap around in front. Yip with a shot. Teasen a save, and 10 bodies piling up. Somehow that puck came free, and it was at center ice, and there were still two guys chopping at it in the net, and Teasen is down. Perhaps the scariest words you could say for the Northeastern Husky. Brad Teasen down on the ice after that big pileup in front of the Huskies' net. We will come back when we get sorted out. Boston University holding on to a 1-goal game here.
Benito on the wraparound attempt, and then a feed out to Yip. Get a good idea what Teasen has to do in the Northeastern goal. Benito follows up. All kinds of Northeastern bodies doing what they can to try and protect their goaltender. More importantly, keep the puck out of the net. And then at the very tail end of the scrum, the stick, the entire blade of the stick of Brandon Yip caught inside, down in the neck of the equipment of Brad Teasen. Pretty good athletic display of strength and flexibility by the Northeastern goaltender. Greg Cronin looking for some kind of penalties here, I would imagine, on BU. Just an all-out attack, an all-out assault.
The puck was cleared out to center ice, and then there was a little altercation in the circle to the right of Teasen. Tyler McNeely of the Huskies has been given a game misconduct, so he's out of the game. That is so far the only penalty we've heard, and so you can maybe imagine why Greg Cronin is a little hot under the collar down there.
Well, it's a sequence of events. The phantom penalty call to put his team down 5-on-4 in the first place. You know, from your viewpoint on the bench, watching what's going on in the crease of your goaltender, you know, with players just carte blanche or whatever they want to do, just come in there trying to hunt down a loose puck and shove it into the net, all kinds of body contact. And then to have that altercation, I believe it was McNeely with McCarthy. Get a look at it on the right side of your screen, right at the face-off dot. I believe it was McCarthy and McNeely. And because of that, Northeastern loses the player's services for the rest of the night.
Yeah, McNeely is out. As the puck comes right in. The best news, of course, for Northeastern through all that is that Teasen is okay. He's able to shake that off. But you can see how far that stick was inside his shoulder pad. Right up against his neck. Took him a little while to shake that off, but he is back up, and his Huskies now pressuring Milan, who came out to play. And trying to take advantage there was McCauley, trying to bank it in off the back of the goal.
Yeah, it was a heads-up play. He knew Milan was in trouble, and he just wanted to put it back into his feet from the blind side where he had no opportunity to handle the puck cleanly.
Liotti taking it. Under 3.5 minutes to go here. And it's a wild one at the Garden, but what would you expect? Beanpot championship game. Two of the top teams in the nation. In fact, Bob Beers, Brendan Walsh telling you in the pregame tonight that in the American Hockey Coaches Association, USA Today poll, they are the top 2 teams in the nation. In that poll, the Huskies ranked number 2. Boston University ranked number 1. They are also 1 and 2, as we said, in the Hockey East standings. And they are the 2 teams standing here for the late game, the Beanpot second Monday.
And 2 very distinct styles and coaching styles between Northeastern and BU. And I think it's been reflected in the game tonight when Northeastern's had the edge. It's been that forechecking game, the physical play, pucks to the net, 5-man attack, players standing in at the offensive blue line. BU, their special teams and their transition game, clearly a huge part of their offense.
I was back in the Northeastern end, and BU gets it in deep. Higgins after it quickly in the corner. Wilson cutting away from Vitale. Puck comes around behind the net. Vitale has just played away from everyone and is taken out now. And chipped off the glass out to center ice. Gryba will be the first Terrier back. His 98th career game for Boston University. The junior out of Saskatoon sends it up ahead of Jason Lawrence. Lawrence gets it up the right side. Higgins around behind the net. Under 2.5 to go. They had Wilson in front. The puck up high. Quayler was in there defending as they battle now in the corner.
Move it!
Lawrence.
Let's go!
And Wilson in there battling. Quayler will take it out, break it out, little move over to the left side. Quayler with some speed, trying to get around Shattenkirk, stays on his feet. As he paid the price, took the hit, got the puck away. Now McLeod getting it up top. Northeastern looking for something here. Driscoll steps in. He plays it around deep. Took a bad hop. Colby Cohen gets it back to settle down. Cohen got it ahead to Higgins. Higgins gets it out to center ice.
Just that body contact, though, that's what happens. Players and teams just chipping the puck out, not looking to make plays.
Now it's Yip with room, centering pass, just broken up back there by Louis Leoni, who was able to deflect it away from the on-rushing Terrier. Driscoll tried to get it ahead. McCarthy steals it. Second effort, Driscoll chips it up high, and it lands at center ice. Tuckerman going in after it on the forecheck. Bonino takes it. Over to Gilroy. Matt Gilroy will start up. Smooth skating defenseman off the near boards. McCarthy lost an edge, dumped in the final minute of play here in the second period. At the blue line, Costa going in hard, got a piece of it. Gilroy trying to keep it away from Chris Donovan. Greg Costa giving chase. Now it's Saponari taking it out over center to dump in. Teason appears okay after a big pile up on him. He's out to play it in traffic. Puck now comes to McLaughlin. Had it stripped away at the blue line. Loose puck at the blue line. And the whistle blows.
Look, Quayler carrying the puck through the neutral zone. That little inside-outside move. Now he needs to get by his man, and he leans in under Shattenkirk, maintains possession of the puck, and then McLeod's able to be there for puck support and use the right point. Forechecking game, Donovan body contact, and that forces plays, you know, just kind of die on the vine where they just throw it up the boards or create a turnover. McLaughlin trying to make a play at the offensive blue line here in the final seconds of the second period, and with that, able to draw the penalty, I believe, to Zach Cohen.
It is tripping call with 20 seconds to go, so looks like for the second straight period, Northeastern will end the period on a power play. Just as soon get the power play go here, not carry that power play in the third period. They try to do it with an offensive zone draw. McLeod couldn't quite get the stick on it. Boston University will just clear. McCarthy doing the work. The final seconds will wind down as it's dumped in, up into the netting at the buzzer. The second period comes to an end. So Boston University getting the offense going in that second period. A couple of goals as Bonino and Lawrence got the goals. And After just 6 shots in the first period, they're outshot 10-6 in that first. They outshoot Northeastern by a 12-3 margin here in the second. 3-2, Terriers lead it. Let's go down to Bob Beers and Brendan Walsh. Eastern has to face Boston University, a perfect 17 wins, no losses, no ties when leading after 2 periods. They lead after 2 periods, but again, Northeastern, like they did in the second period, beginning this third period with a power play. Northeastern in the road, or the home whites rather, skating left to right as you look at it with the black and red trim. Boston University in the red uniforms with white trim, skating right to left. And quickly in the offensive zone, it is Northeastern as we get this third period of the Beanpot Championship game underway. Good effort by Vitale to keep it in. McLeod couldn't get much on it. Rebound, save made by Milan, his best of the night. As Boston University now will get it out of the zone. Benino is thinking more than just clearing it here as he goes in one-on-one short-handed. They get back to take it back. Mike Eukin got it over near side. Vitale getting after it. 50 seconds to go. Janan brings it out in front, chopping at it. Now everybody in there as well. Milan holds on and the whistle blows. Little trickery there by Janan, who showed pass and then turned to take the shot.
And we may have a penalty on the play, but let's take a look at what happened earlier. They start the third with the power play, and because McLeod kind of fans on his shot from the side, kind of throws off the timing of the save from Milan, and then McLaughlin comes flying in once again like he did in the first period. He gets the best opportunity. He gets robbed with the left pad by Milan, and then further pressure by Northeastern, taking the puck to the net, and the penalty that we started the replay talking about. Kevin Shattenkirk goes to the penalty box, and now a 5-on-3 for 45 seconds for the Huskies.
What a great opportunity for Northeastern here. 45 seconds of 2-man advantage and an offensive zone draw. They drop the puck and we'll do it again. Let's go down to Don Orsillo at ice level. Don.
All right, TC, thank you very much. Talked to David Quinn, the associate head coach for Boston University in between periods. They felt better about the second period than they did the first period, although they're a little concerned with letdowns after scoring goals. Twice it's happened tonight, trying to prevent that from happening once again here. Back to you, TC.
Thank you, Don. And Northeastern takes a timeout here, understanding that this is a crucial juncture of this game. Want to set up that 5-on-3, maybe keep the unit that's been out there for 57 seconds a little rested here.
Yeah, and it's always a difficult decision, really, when it's a 3-2 game early in the third period to call a timeout when perhaps you might want that in your pocket in such a tight game late in the hockey game. But you're right, it is a critical point in the hockey game, and BU certainly needs some kind of quality kill, and to remind your players, if you're Boston University, that if we do give up the tying goal, that's fine. You know, we expected this to be a tightly played game and a close game. We will try to exercise our might the deeper we get into the third period. As far as Northeastern, yes, here's what we work on in practice. This is why we practice the power play. This is why we practice 5-on-3s, just for this situation. In an important game at an important time in the Beanpot Final, and you want your best players, certainly everybody on the same page, that you execute what you're looking to get for in terms of quality scoring chances with a 2-man advantage.
Northeastern already with 4 shots on net in the first minute of this period. On the 1-man advantage, they have control with a 2-man advantage here. They play it in deep as Quayler sets up in front. Back up top, a one-timer never got through as Popko was able to block it. Now the loose puck, hustling after it. McLeod controls. 20 seconds of the 2-man advantage. Janan gives it up top. Takes it back here. Eukin slides it over to the left side. McLeod down low at the doorstep. Milan a save, rebound loose, and again a big collision in front as they actually fall into the net with 7 seconds remaining on the 2-man advantage.
It looked like Milan got this puck with his left pad. He left it laying on the ice right near the goal line. See if we can get a look at it from the overhead. There's the jam shot. Yeah, exactly. That puck might have snuck in that far corner along the ice. Janan trying to get there. Great presence in front of the front of the BU net, right at the top of the crease. It doesn't have to be pretty, just needs to be effective.
7 seconds now, a crucial face-off here, won by Northeastern. Puck in front, but a great job by Greiba, who didn't let Quayler get that stick free to bang home the rebound. First man out of the box, a minute 10 on the one-man advantage. A great chance there, but it got by. Vitale couldn't get it back over to the near side, cleared out length of the ice, quickly teasing out to play. And McLeod goes back into the offensive zone. With the timeout, this unit has essentially played the entire 2 minutes and 10 seconds of this period so far. 44 seconds to go on the man advantage. Janan skating all the way in, and he sends it over the crossbar. He found room to skate, and he tried to make the most of it.
He created it. Great speed to the outside, and then a cut back into the middle, and he got right inside that four-man box formation for a great scoring opportunity.
Cleared again here. 20 seconds to go on the power play. As Northeastern had excellent opportunities. 8 shots on net already this period in 2 minutes and 50 seconds for Northeastern. But they are unable to convert on the power play. I thought I spoke too soon there. As turning and shooting it on net right at the end of the power play, but it was sticked aside, and now Boston University at even strength for the first time this period.
The old adage that sometimes your best penalty killer's got to be your goaltender, and Midland certainly was that for BU here in the first 3.5 minutes.
Turnover here at neutral ice. Taking it down low is Donovan, turning and firing it, but couldn't get the quality shot he wanted on net. And Boston University brings it out. Zach Cohen tied up to the boards as he dumps it in and gets back up to lay a hit. Bonino had the second goal of the night for Boston University. Now Yip, who set that goal up. A good battle down in the corner with Dennis Chisholm. Bonino tried to dig it out. Donovan steps in to steal, upended. And he goes down hard as the puck is dumped in by Boston University.
Yeah, Shattenkirk standing up in the neutral zone on Donovan. Donovan's been on the giving side of most of the hits of the Beanpot here in the first 2 Mondays of February, but that time, big hit by Shattenkirk.
It is definitely better to give than to receive at the Beanpot when it comes to those hits. That was a shot from a long way out. Thiessen made the save. Wilson bringing it back up along the boards, just turns and sends it on net. Nothing much happening, so he gets his team an offensive zone face-off. 4 minutes, 29 seconds gone. Third period, a one-goal game in the Beanpot Championship.
Score, Boston University over Northeastern. More opportunities for the Huskies here at the start of the third period. Great pressure at the top of the net, top of the crease. Quayler had an opportunity, left pad drag save by Milan. And then Donovan with that lean in to protect the puck, even one hand on the stick at times, looking for that wraparound. He's had a very impressive run here lately for Northeastern, not only in the Beanpot 2 Mondays, but during the week as well.
Yeah, everybody talked about Thiessen, obviously, with a 45-save effort last week, but you could easily make the argument that Donovan was the most important player on the ice in that semifinal for Northeastern. Colin Wilson going down in the offensive zone. He played it out in front. Loose puck in the slot. It sits there, and it is shot wide. Gilroy stepping up, sensing the opportunity. Higgins in the corner with Lawrence. Lawrence in the battle there with David Strathman. Played back in behind the net for Colin Wilson. Tries to play it in front. Now breaks free behind the net. Wilson gets it up to the point and gets it back on the far boards. Puck actually hopped over his stick at the end of the shift, and BU will come off. Vitale runs into traffic, got it off the glass, dumped in by McCauley. And now it'll be Northeastern's turn to change up on the fly as Boston University starts up the ice. 5 minutes, 40 seconds gone. That'll come out of play as Warsofsky went down, and the puck comes back into the BU end.
You talked about that performance by Thiessen, TC, back in round one. You know, it started off kind of a slow game from him. He only had 7 shots in the first period, but then BC able to pile up 38 shots over the next 2 periods where he was perfect.
Well, he will undoubtedly, barring a major change of circumstance here in the third period, be the Everly Trophy winner. Goes to the highest save percentage. There's no subjectivity in that award. The highest save percentage gets the award, and with a 45 save performance and 46 shots in that first period, almost assured himself of that award for the second straight year. And making a couple of saves here for a much more important reason, keeping it a 1-goal game, giving his team a chance to get that equalizing goal. 3 Huskies back in, but it comes out to McCarthy, who slid it across. Bonino just couldn't get the stick on it. Now he dumps in to come off the ice on a change.
Good second and third efforts by Yip. Yip thought about pulling up and finding a defenseman coming late. That wasn't a good idea. He got in some trouble, but he won the battles.
Coming in now, Connolly, the freshman, with a shot. Thiessen made the save, tried to reel it in with the stick. He got away from him down into the corner, and Boston University has control here. Sapinari around behind the net, turns to the front, took a shot off the side of the net. Now the puck's in the high slot, and they get it back to Shattenkirk. BU pressuring here. Janan broke that one up as it came through. Zach Cohen takes the hit. Janan can't get it by Connolly. Sapinari turns, fires, Thiessen the save, and the rebound, poked just wide. Connolly got in after it. Northeastern getting it out of the zone, much to the delight of the Husky faithful, as BU will settle it down now.
It was Sapinari that set up Connolly for the first opportunity that Thiessen made the save on. Then he set him up again for a rebound chance from the slot area.
It goes up into the netting, and we talked about the composure of this Northeastern team. You wonder now, with BU pressuring, if they can stay up to the task.
Now you look how close it was to being down by 2 when Connolly rotates back to the front of the net. I couldn't tell if it was 1 or 2 hands. I guess it was 2 hands on the shaft of the stick by Connolly when he got to that rebound on the Sapinari shot, and it caught the outside apron of the goal.
BU has taken the last 6 shots in this game after that initial power play fueled rush of offensive opportunities for the Huskies. Thiessen up to the task. 3-2, Boston University leading it here as they look for their 29th Beanpot in the 57-year history of this great college sports tradition. Poked out on the far side by Alex Tuckerman. Lawrence got it back to Wilson. Wilson now with some speed coming in. Colin Wilson kicked away by Thiessen. Getting it back up top. Straight with the save. Thiessen with the save as Straight took the shot. And Boston University is pouring it in on Thiessen right now, but they have not been able to get one by him yet here in the third.
When BU's playing their best hockey, this is how they play, and they dominate action in all 3 zones. Wilson, and some people feel he is physically ready for the National Hockey League right now. Just an explosive move to the outside, attacking the net, gets to the slot areas, enough layers defensively for Northeastern to prevent a real good shot from a good area, but that powerful stride, the strength, the ability to carry the puck in that situation. And then after the stop on the drive by Straight from out high, we had a pretty good battle going on with some cross-checking and some exchanges between Silva and Higgins, and they'll both go to the penalty box.
All right, talking about Wilson being ready for the NHL. Obviously, the Predators thought he would one day be ready for the NHL. 7th pick in the 2008 draft. Going to follow in the footsteps of his dad, Gary Wilson, 13 years in the NHL. And he, last year as the Rookie of the Year, has stepped it up in his sophomore year. Already closing in on last year's total with 2 assists tonight, now 35 points, tying his freshman numbers. 26 assists, leading Hockey East. We skate 4-on-4 here. After those matching penalties, and Quayler trying to make the most of the open ice. Leaves that one for Vitale. Nice little move as he got it over to Strathman, but an aggressive poke check there by the goaltender Milan. Puck taken around behind the net. Long pass up to the right side. And that one is taken off the stick of Yip by Teason. As both sides getting a little hot on the collar here in the third.
Well, playing 4-on-4, and if you can create a 3-on-2 by a simple little pass and then jump by the checkers, you're going to be in pretty good shape, and Strathman does just that. A quick little feed from behind the net leads to this 3-on-2. Vitale, Quayler able to work that puck, and then little drop pass. Strathman tried to pull it around Milan on the backhand, but BU goaltender and the back checker is getting enough to prevent that backhand move to an empty net side.
See Strathman's points against Boston University, trying to add to those totals. His Huskies trailing by a goal. Trying to end that long drought at Huntington Avenue. Here, Shattenkirk lost an edge. Northeastern trying to get to it, but back up quickly with the puck. Shattenkirk now knocked off the puck as the Huskies take it away. The hit from Louis Liotti. Tuckerman carrying in his drop pass, got by Janan, and now it's one-on-one. As McCarthy goes in, takes the shot, gloved by Teason, and he holds on.
Back and forth we go. A lot of extra ice because of the 4-on-4 situation for both teams. Northeastern's thought they had something going, and a 2-on-2 little drop pass. That didn't work. BU in their classic transition game. And the ability, the skill level, McCarthy with a, I guess a no-look pickup. Kind of a feel where that pass is going to be. You lay your blade right where you think it's going to be, and then you have a little space because you took a peek over your shoulder. You knew you weren't going to get hit in open ice, so you go ahead and try and receive the pass in that fashion and be successful.
Here's Wilson with open ice now, gaining the line, carrying in. Shot again on Teason, and he makes the stop. They've taken 10 straight shots on Teason, Boston University, after Northeastern took the first 9 of the period. SBLI is the no-nonsense life insurance company. They want to know who you think will win this year's Hockey East tournament. Visit SBLI.com/icepick to vote and register to win 2 great tickets to the 2009 Hockey East Championship game. Approaching the midway point of this third period. No scoring yet in this period. Vitale trying to change that on his horse as he gets around Gilroy. Vitale is stopped by Milan. What a great rush there by the Northeastern captain. Eukin keeps it in, redirected as it came through up into the netting out of play. And the Huskies get their best bid of their even strength third period.
Well, I'll give BU high marks for the amount of shots that they've put up consecutively after Northeastern had all that power play opportunity at the start. Well, this is the first shot for the Huskies for a while, but it was a darn good one. A well-executed long-distance stretch breakout through the neutral zone. A touch pass by McLeod that just got put in an area where Vitale had a chance to get to it first, and did he ever, and he attacked the net beautifully, but what a stop by Milan. But his third or fourth this period.
Boston University carrying it around behind its own net. Connolly over center now. Gains the line, fires it on net. Teason turns it aside. And a penalty back behind the play, an interference call. And Boston University heads on the power play when we
period. Beanpot Final. Eukin, the defenseman for Northeastern, stick between the legs of Saponari. Upends him, and there's your interference call.
It's been an interesting game as far as the power play. Each team now will have had 6 power play attempts, 1 for 5 on the 6th power play, Boston University. As Gilroy tried to fire it and poked away here off to the races. Donovan trying to create a short-handed rush. Gilroy got back to break it up.
And Donovan, pretty good skater with some pretty good speed. Only problem was it was Matt Gilroy that was coming back. Probably a better skater who took a terrific angle.
And there are few who can keep up with Gilroy in full stride. The fastest skaters in the conference, if not the country. And he's got the puck. Gilroy looking. Had it broken up as he got it through. Panino. Just getting it to McCarthy, who kicks it over to Bonino, now gets it back himself. Sapinari behind the net, out top for Yip. Gilroy fires it through, it was redirected but went wide. Sapinari after it. McCarthy there as well. Puck sitting out at the edge of the crease. Liotti tried to carry out. Now an opportunity as it's up on the right side. Tuckerman takes it around behind the net. Tried to play it in front as Vitale joined him. Boston University breaks out the other way. Lawrence puts on the brakes. Nice move there as he got the backhand pass away. Cohen. They get it through to Higgins, but the pass in on his feet. Lawrence getting it over to Wilson. Colby Cohen looking back to Wilson. Nice play by Vitale to break that pass up. Gets through to Higgins on the near side. Cohen's pass broken up. Good diving effort there to get it out to neutralize by Wade McLeod. Now an opportunity. Vitale going wide on the left side. Knows he was getting tired at the end of a lot of penalty killing time there. Got the pass back and it's dumped in. Nice heads up play by Vitale.
Well, we began the third period talking about the will to win. It has to be there for Northeastern. What a great example of it. McLeod laying out defensively on the penalty kill.
And back to even strength as Quayler comes in, and it was Shattenkirk getting a piece of it. It goes out of play. 7:42 remaining. Greg Cronin's team needs a goal if it wants to end this drought without a Beanpot. University with a 1-goal lead. 7:42 our time remaining. Has a great diving effort. Talk about the will to win. There it is.
Stick position number one when you're killing a penalty. When players try to make plays in areas, discourage them with stick position.
On the right side, Northeastern get control as the battle comes behind the net now. Wraparound attempt there. Tuckerman tried to tuck it home with backhand. Blocked and falling there. Strathman was able to just get a piece of that. We've got a penalty coming up against Boston University. We'll try to gain the line. Strathman carries over and dumps in, so they will get the offensive zone draw, and the penalty call now sending Northeastern on its 6th power play of the game.
Pereira's going to go to the box in the neutral zone, trying to jump on a loose puck. When Tuckerman gets to it first, Pereira with the stick work to the legs of Tuckerman. Get a good look at it there. Upending the Northeastern forward on the back check. Pereira will go to the box. Untimely penalty for BU.
Beg your pardon, be the 8th power play of the game for Northeastern. Who started this period the first nearly 3 minutes on the power play. One-timer, McLeod had it blocked by Yip. Boston University gets it out over the blue line.
A great play by Bonino. Just like we saw McLeod lay out, Bonino does the same in his own zone.
And Bonino there with a good, strong backhand that he flips all the way back to the Northeastern end. 6:45 our time remaining. Northeastern University with the man advantage, bringing it up into the offensive end. Strathman steps up to keep it in deep. Up top, Hukin has it, plays it over to his left. Wants it back and gets it. Hukin looking, finds Janan. Down low, he plays it. They get it up top. Hukin with room. Shoots it into Yip, and it was blocked. Warsofsky will carry out. Warsofsky going in shorthanded, scores! David Warsofsky, the freshman out of Marshfield, makes it a 2-goal lead.
Well, I don't know how often it is that you see two defensemen leading a 2-on-1 in the third period of a 1-goal game in the Beanpot Final while you're shorthanded, but that's exactly what's going to happen. Warsofsky with the puck, takes a look over his left shoulder, sees he has Greiber coming, but the passing lane isn't there, and he makes the right decision to take a shot on goal A, you don't want to miss the net. B, you don't want to be too fine with that shot because you could be in trouble if you miss the goal. But he does the best thing possible for the BU Terrier fans. He beats Tees and glove side for a 2-goal lead for BU.
Prior to Friday night's game against UMass Lowell, David Warsofsky had played 26 games without a goal. Now he's got a 2-game goal-scoring streak, and none bigger than the one that gives his Terriers a little bit of insurance in the Beanpot Championship. And again, the defenseman leading the way. This time he gets it to Wilson. He scores! Shattenkirk finds Colin Wilson, and Wilson finds the back of the net.
Another 2-on-1 for BU. Northeastern sensing desperation time, down by 2. Still on the power play. They take some chances in the offensive zone, and that's a green light for any penalty-killing team, especially with the skill level of BU. What a great 2-on-1. The dish by Shattenkirk, head up the whole way. A good feel for where the passing lane is, underneath the stick of Stratman. And Colin Wilson just able to collect that pass, all in one motion, corral it, and a quick wrist shot before Thiessen can get set. Beautiful 2-on-1, back-to-back by BU.
How about 3 shorthanded goals in this game for the Boston University Terriers? They came into the night with 4 on the season. Looking for another one there as there's still 10 seconds remaining on the penalty to Pereira. Boston University with 2 goals on the same Northeastern power play to open this one up, and it's a 5-2 lead. Back to even strength now, and under 5 minutes remaining. McLeod trying to get back. Northeastern now. We talked about sensing some desperation. Northeastern will have to play desperate hockey here over the last 4:40, try to get something going. Warsofsky from Yip, Wilson from Shattenkirk. 30 seconds apart on the same penalty kill. And with less than 4.5 to go, the Terriers in a commanding 5-2 lead, looking for Beanpot number 29. In a tight game with 2 shorthanded goals on the same penalty kill, Warsofsky getting his 2nd, Colin Wilson taking the feed from Shattenkirk for his 10th. And just like that, the deflation of the Husky bench could be felt from up here.
Yeah, just that helpless feeling for both Stratman and McLaughlin trying to defend that 2-on-1. And you got to look at Greg Cronin and just how exasperating it's got to be. Frustrating, so close, in good position in the 3rd period. You played a strong game. You actually had a good power play going before that first 2-on-1 goal, and the 2 defensemen, Warsofsky scoring the goal with Greiber joining him. But just the indecision by Hukin led to the shot block and then the 2-on-1. But Northeastern was moving the puck, getting what they wanted to in terms of good looks with the man advantage. And all it takes is one mistake and a team's ability to capitalize on that mistake that can be so deflating.
It is Dennis McCauley in the penalty box. A power play for Boston University, their 7th of the game. But they've done most of their damage down a man tonight. Quayler here with a steal, trying to get into the shorthanded act. He gets tripped, and there's a penalty call there, as Colin Wilson will go to the box for the tripping call.
Well, Wilson thought he actually did a pretty good job defending and knowing that he had to come from the backside, try to stay within the rules. Just that little bit of a bump, but you see the stick when he's trying to get to the puck. He knocks down Quayler with that left skate. That's why he will go to the box, and McCauley in the opposite penalty box. So we have a 4-on-4 situation.
With under 4 minutes to go and a 3-goal Boston University lead, Northeastern will need a near miracle here to get its first Beanpot Championship since 1988. Boston University try to keep it in as deep as they can here for the final 3.5 minutes. Janan getting it to Liotti as the Huskies start up the ice. Janan's got to get back after it. Yip coming in behind him. And just a piece of it is Janan now. Plays it over to the far side. Pass came out in front, now back to the point where it'll be played in by Strathman. Puck on the boards, and the whistle will blow. Boston University 2 minutes 57 seconds away from its second Beanpot Championship in 3 years. Last time out, it went to overtime. John Curry, the goalie, won the MVP honors with a Beanpot record .985 save percentage, 65 saves on 66 shots in the tournament. Curry finishing his Beanpot career with a perfect 5-0 record. Boston University at the time winning its 28th Beanpot. John McCarthy winning the face-off, and Brian McGurk scoring in overtime to beat Corey Schneider for the championship. Last year, the only time in 15 years that BU didn't make it to the finals. They are back and closing in on Beanpot number 29. McCarthy out behind the net. And again, as we said, the battle's not over between these two teams. Weekend after next, they'll play a home-and-home series, essentially playing each other 3 times in a little under 2 weeks. And they could well meet again, as they have been the top 2 teams in the Hockey East Conference throughout the regular season. But tonight, wrapping up their battle in the 57th annual Beanpot Tournament. Nesson's coverage of the 57th annual Beanpot Tournament is brought to you in part by Hess, by Sullivan Tire, and by W.B. Mason. Not sure if those are Northeastern fans heading out of the TD Bank North Garden, but certainly a disappointing end to this one. And the question, Brick, as we go forward, the question I think a lot of Northeastern fans will be asking is, how does this team respond to this loss? Last year, that crushing blow, the first loss in the semifinal, and they really did not recover as the rest of the season went on. And while there's disappointment losing the Beanpot, there is still the hope of a Hockey East Championship, an NCAA berth, and a deep run in the postseason.
Yeah, totally different set of circumstances here. You know, the fact that you get to the final game, number one, how you were able to manage, you know, the first 5-10 minutes against BC. I think that's all part of the progression and the maturation for this Northeastern team. The fact that their compete level here tonight, I thought, was terrific. Very much in this hockey game. A little bit of luck in the early portion of the third period. You're looking at a 3-3 game. Milan played his best in the opening 5 minutes of the third period here tonight. That could have made a huge difference. The fact that they have a lot of things, a lot of positives to be happy about as far as their compete level and the type of team that they are. I think they proved to themselves that they are worthy of, whether you think they're second or third ranked in the nation, to play against a very good BU team that is operating all cylinders, is very healthy, is playing good right now, that always plays well in this tournament. I think it goes a long way to helping Northeastern for the rest of the season.
And again, a lot of hockey to go here before the Hockey East Championship here at the Garden in March. Nice little effort by Lawrence, trying to deflect that one by Teason. He made the save. And it's cleared out, a penalty back in as we had an interference call as Northeastern tried to get up the ice.
McLaughlin trying to lay this puck in and get his own forecheck going, and then there was a hold right at the defensive blue line. Straight will go to the box. 1:16 left in regulation. Down by 3 Northeastern. They're going to see if they can play this one to the buzzer, because if you can look at the penalty, certainly that is what is demanded of the Northeast coaching staff. They play the full 60 regardless of the score on the scoreboard.
Eucken gets it back after the initial block. A power play here with just over a minute to go. Try to get it to Janan in front. Milan made the save. How many times have we said this tonight with a big scrum in front of the crease? Higgins, or Yip, was able to just keep it away from Eucken, who stepped up. Final minute of play here. And that one is sent wide. McLeod now behind the net. Gets it away to Janan, who looks for a little bit of breathing room. That one came through. Milan may have got a piece of it, and it's cleared all the way back to Teason, who plays it all the way back up quickly. McLeod taking right back in off the long feed from the goalie. Brad Teason, who in the end has performed well, obviously, tonight. 29 saves tonight after that 45 save performance last week in the semifinal win that got Northeastern back in the Beanpot Final for the first time since 2005. And here Milan makes the save. The puck goes just wide. The goal line actually came on, but the referee quickly waving it off. And the whistle blowing the play dead.
A simple little wrist shot from out high in the middle of the offensive zone is going to be redirected. We'll see if the overhead will tell us whether this puck crossed the goal line or not. Off that post, in behind Milan. Nope, that puck never crosses the goal line, so that goal will not be counted. Neither referee had a goal called on the ice, even though the red light did go on.
Well, we said at the very top tonight, Breaker win tonight will eclipse Brian DeRocher's BU record, 18-1-1, the best 21 game start, or 20 game start rather, in Boston University history. Best winning percentage in the country, and obviously the freshman has stepped onto campus and never looked back.
Yeah, and when you analyzed his game in round one, that victory over Harvard, all Harvard needed was a couple of more seconds. Otherwise, we would have been playing overtime. And there were those that questioned, the nerves for a young goaltender, a freshman, even though he's had terrific numbers all year. But tonight, I think in the third period, as we get one more look at that puck deflecting off the post, the first 3 or 4 minutes of this third period gives you a pretty good idea of how poised, confident, relaxed that Milan is in goal for BU, and that's why his numbers are where they are. Sure, he's got a great team in front of him, but when he's called upon to make timely saves, he's been there.
In the last 44 periods he has played, he has given up more than one goal once. That was the 2-goal second period Lowell had on this past Friday night. So as a freshman, Milan backstops Boston University to the Beanpot Championship for the 29th time. The Terriers are top dogs on the second Monday of February. And the handshakes as we get ready for the post-game awards ceremony. Jack Parker has coached the Terriers to 21 championships. He played in 3 championship team efforts from the Terriers, so no one knows more about the feeling of winning on this second Monday in a late game than Jack Parker. The Budweiser Game Time Refreshing Play of the game is the goal that made it 4-2 for Boston University, as it was Warsofsky, a shorthanded goal. Couldn't find the pass, found the back of the net instead. The first of 2 shorthanded goals on that penalty kill, and a 5-2 win for Boston University. Back with the awards ceremony right after this. Win over the Northeastern Huskies, the #1 team in the nation, extends the longest winning streak in the nation. They have now won 8 straight games and are 15-1-1 over the last 17 games. But more importantly, to Jack Parker, the Terriers, and Terrier fans everywhere, they are the Beanpot champions once again, as they will hoist, or they have hoisted, their 29th Beanpot. They have won now 12 of the last 15, and you can just go on and on with the dominance they've had in this tournament. As we get ready for the awards ceremony, we remind you that Sports Desk, presented by FW Web, coming up next. Heidi Watney will wrap up our coverage from here at the Garden, and everything else happening as pitchers and catchers get ready to report down in Fort Myers, and the Bruins get ready for a busy week.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce.
Getting ready for the awards ceremony as we are set to send it down to eyes level in just a moment. Boston University will hoist the banner, proclaiming them the 2009 Beanpot Tournament champions.
Fabulous Beanpot. Congratulations to Northeastern, a great effort. Fabulous fan support, great effort. We thank you so much. And we have two awards. First award will be presented by Dan Eberly. It is an Eberly Award, and it's for save percentage. Dan?
Thank you, Steve. Again, congratulations to the two great hockey teams tonight. It was very exciting, especially for me tonight, because my brother played goal for BU and I played for Northeastern, so it was very exciting. But this Eberly Award is given to the goaltender that plays in both tournaments and has the highest save percentage. And tonight, with stopping 74 saves out of 80 shots in 2 games for a save percentage of 9.25. Again this year, the goaltender for Northeastern, Brad Basin.
Congratulations. The most valuable player for the 2009 Beanpot, Nick Bonino.
Nick Bonino has played 4 games in the Beanpot in his career. He's had at least 1 goal in each of those games, including 2 last Monday and 1 tonight that gave them a 2-1 lead at the time. Nick Bonino is the MVP.
Ask Charles Parker and the captains come forward to receive the award. Thank you, man.
All right, standing with the MVP, Nick Bonino. Tell me what this experience has been like for you.
It's unbelievable, especially after last year. Had a pretty disappointing run in the Beanpot, and it's unbelievable, this feeling. I can barely talk right now. It's just a great feeling to be with the guys and win this.
Earlier this year, you were struggling a little bit offensively. Boy, you turned it on at the right time, it appears.
Yeah, hopefully keep it going. I mean, hit a bad run for a little bit, but hopefully getting the legs going and keep my feet moving, and the puck will start going to the net more.
Lastly, what do you think the key play in this game was?
Tonight, I think it was J-Lo's goal, 2 game winners this weekend, and or these 2 Mondays. He was just unbelievable, and the spark that we needed, and it's just a great feeling. The PK too, 3 PK goals, so that was huge.
Nick Bonino, congratulations. Go join your teammates.
Thanks a lot.
Back to you, Tom.
All right, Don, thanks very much. Nick Bonino is the tournament MVP. Our SBLI no-nonsense player of the game is Colin Wilson, and he has been a tremendous player since arriving on campus. Hockey East Rookie of the Year last year. A great night tonight for Wilson with a goal and 2 assists. Could have easily made the argument that he could have been the MVP, but Bonino was outstanding.
Yeah, a lot of good choices for MVP Beanpot, but clearly BU exercised their might, I thought, the last 3 quarters of that 3rd period. That's why they're the champions. Their will to win greater than
Boston University 5, Northeastern 2. For Andy Brickley and Don Orsillo, I'm Tom Caron saying good night from the TD Bank North Garden. Visit the all-new NESN.com, where New England sports live online. This has been a presentation of NESN, New England's most watched sports network. Stay tuned next for Sports Desk with Heidi Watney.